Hello viewers, it's Ultimus53 here, and welcome to Reviewed number 36. And today I'm going to be reviewing Doctor Who Series 4.
So, Doctor Who Series 4. What did I think of it? Well, it was a very, well done series actually. It's actually, David Tennant's last full series as the Doctor. And then Series 5 would continue the next Doctor, Matt Smith's era. This was a really, really well done series. I thought it was really, really good. I mean, not as good as Series 3, but like, the episodes they had in this one were really good. They just did a good amount of story in this. We had a lot of two-parters, a lot of and plus the question that we've been the whole series has been asking us since the first series debuted. Or at least the first time we had Bad Wolf mentioned. We finally get the answer to that at the end of Johnny Johnny's End. We get the end of the universe, which is what Bad Wolf stands for. So yeah, so the first episode, of course I'm not going to talk about the crew special because I talked about that last week, and I don't need to do that again. The first episode was called Partners in Crime. Now this was actually really just a very natural episode. It had the Doctor meeting Donna Noble for the second time in a row, and we get a lot of this. We get life of Donna trying to track down the Doctor again, and finally she does, and she's working for this weight loss place called Adipose Mysteries, and it's basically this thing that everyone's testing out, how to do everything like that, and basically it takes these fat thingies from people who are overweight. People take the pill who want to lose weight, and it turns out that what's causing that is that there's this little pill chain thingy that actually causes you to have these little fat monsters pop out. And then it's actually the villain of this episode is actually all the adipose creatures. It's actually Madame Foster, who's this middle-aged woman who is basically a false nanny to these creatures, these little things that pop out of people's chests and other parts of the body. Madame Foster is this character who it's really, she's kind of this really sinister villain. I mean, like every episode of Doctor Who, there's always a monster, and honestly, the Adipose aren't really monsters. They're just like creatures that can be controlled by Madame Foster, well, Madame Foster, not the Foster from Imaginary Friends character, but for Mrs. Foster. She's this expert. She is the head of Adipose Industries. Uh, she has like red lips, fingernails, and glasses and blonde hair. That's what she looks like in this episode. And she's just really stuck up and just it's just a really creepy episode. And she also has a sonic pen. She's kind of a rival to the Doctor. It's really interesting. So basically the idea of the plot is that that Donna Noble is trying to track down the Doctor again, and while experiencing the invasion of Earth by these little creature things, thanks to Mrs. Foster or whatever her name is. I think it's Foster. It's just a name. But it's really, really interesting because when you get because when the Doctor first sees Donna Noble for the second time in a row, it's just the chemistry between those two. There's just, I guess, the sassy woman with the Doctor. It's just amazing. It's really quite funny. And so she's like, well, I mean, but when she first encounters him, she's like, do you ever change? Of course, that's because he doesn't age. So it's kind of funny like that. However, it's a really interesting episode. It's basically the Doctor and Don Rumble working together as partners in crime, to defeat the Adipose creator, who Madam Foster, whatever her name is, Foster, I don't know. It's the one with the red lips and the glasses and the screw and the sonic pen. Where it makes these little pill things make like little fat monster fat monsters pop out of people's bodies and basically kill them. That's basically the idea. So yeah, at the end of that episode, well, first Donna runs into Rose after a long time, and she's trying to get back to this era, but she can't do it. And she goes with the Doctor after a long little argument about monster mates, and they go along and go on to an event, elusive adventures. Actually, I think that the great part about this episode was the end of the episode when we see the TARDIS again. The Doctor's like, TARDIS, it's bigger on the inside than the outside. You know, and Donna's like, oh, I know that bit. That's just, I mean, seeing the interior of the TARDIS with the ramp, it's just awesome. So then we have episode 2, which is the Fires of Pompeii. Now, this episode was actually really well done. It's by far the best episode. Well, okay, maybe not the best episode, but a really well done episode. It had Peter Capaldi in it, who later went on to play the 12th Doctor, the current Doctor. And he makes an appearance in this as Caecilius or whatever like that. And it's basically Doctor takes Donna to what he thinks is Rome, but turns out to be Pompeii. And it's actually during the volcano eruption of that era. And they find out that the whole time that they find out first there's this Sibylline Sisterhood who like they predict the future or whatever. And the Doctor finds out that that they mean to like they mean to destroy the whole world or something like that. With these rock creatures. It's a really great episode. I think also a great quote from the episode was just before the title intro happened. Have in Pompeii and it's volcano day. That was a great line. So that was a really interesting episode. And I love the end of the episode. The guy, the brother, like honors the household gods as the Doctor and TARDIS and Donna. That was great. So the next episode, Planet of the Ood, which was episode 3. This was actually a really good episode. Like it's not only creepy, but it's also just crazy awesome. So the Doctor and Donna actually come to this planet called it's like this Ood planet thing in the far future. And so what happens is that is they discover the Ood, which was our last seen in I think it was the Impossible Planet and Satan's Pit. That was the introduction of the Ood. And it's a really interesting episode because it has this basically shows how the Ood can become evil. I mean they were initially evil in that episode, but this is how they shows how they can be evil. Basically, it's this future society where the Oods are all intelligent. It's basically think of like a cell phone plan. This is the Ood plan. Like you can have all these Ood like other caregivers to people, and this is guy who gets like I guess paralyzed you know what was the like to death and that kind of thing. And so what happens is that gradually over time he turns nude. Um, and it's the question of the circle must be broken, and then we can sing. And it's actually a really emotional episode because we have don't like pushing the ood and like hearing the song, which is actually an allusion to Doctor's regeneration. And the end of the episode, after a long battle with the ood, not the evil ood, but basically, we get the we get the prophecy that the Doctor will die, basically. In other words, the end of the 10th Doctor's life. Investigate Taste for the end of time part 2. It's they publicize the Doctor's death by saying, "Our song has ended, but your song will end, and your song will end too." And the Doctor's like, "What? What do you mean?" Yeah, something like that. It's like kind of a Yoda thing. But it's really a bit interesting episode. And then the following episode after that is actually a two-parter. The Centauran Stratagem and the Poison Sky. It combines for episode 4 and 8 and 5. It has the return of Martha Jones from series 3, who gets the Doctor to help with this thing called the Atmos, which is this gas thing, causing our cars to just like go crazy, and like it's just kind of like a GPS, but it's like crazier. Um, and it turns out that the Centaurans are behind it. The old and the Doctor's old enemy, the Centaurans are behind it. Of course, they're redesigned now, so they're like way different, kind of like with the Cybermen and the Daleks. So Centaurans look different, and they're really they're of course evil, and there's actually its unit is actually back in this episode as well as Martha, and it's really also really interesting about this episode is the fact that Martha gets cloned during the episode. Um, just crazy. But turns out this is Kid who this genius kid who's like helping them with some towers or whatever. I can't remember his name exactly, but he's this really weird. He's this really like super kid, super genius kid who basically helps the Centaurans with a plan. Wants to wipe out humanity too. I don't know, something like that. So basically, the idea of the first episode is the Doctor finds out that the gas causing the Atmos to release is actually from Atmos, which is the gas Atmos thing that is actually called the Centaurans, and he finds out the Centaurans are behind it, and it's pretty bad. That's actually Wilfred is in this episode. Being more Wilfred in this episode. He actually starts coughing a lot in this episode, like he almost dies, something like that. And then the following episode, the Poison Sky. Continuing from from when Wilfred was shooken to death. We basically have we finally find out that Martha's the Doctor finds out that Martha's cloned, and we get eventually the Centaurans are defeated in the Atmos is gone, but also we get a lot of things that were never really thought of. It's, we get more of how Centaurans work, like they have 3 fingers, and actually, yeah, that's really funny. That episode it was part of the episode where Adonis like it's a key for fingers, and the Doctor's like, you have 3 fingers. Um, but yeah, and see, actually, there's a really funny part of of episode 5, Poison Sky, when this sergeant guy from unit he says he talks to the Doctor about the instructions, and then the Doctor's like, are you my mummy? And that's a direct reference to the Nth Child, which is about that the gas mask thing. Um, so that episode ends with the with the Union skin invading this machine that basically blazes the whole world, basically, but catches sets the sky on fire and clears up the gas, um, because that's how it is. And so what happens is that that Martha wants is ready is saying goodbye to the Doctor, but but unfortunately, uh, she gets locked into the TARDIS on another adventure, even though that's not what she wants to do. Um, so that's kind of unfortunate. And yeah, that's really a visual, pretty long two-parter, but it's actually really interesting because you have the Towers Redone. It's just a really great episode, and the Doctor's Daughter is a really great episode too. There's a lot of great episodes in this series. So episode 6 is the Doctor's Daughter. Um, basically come to this planet called Melissa, where you have basically a war between the Hath and these fish-like creatures called the Hath, and they don't even have a speaking language. Well, their language is basically bubbles. That's pretty much what it is. And so what happens is basically a war between Melissa. Oh, not Melissa or Melissa. I can't remember. Melissa something. Melissa something. Um, and basically the human soldiers versus these fish things. And it's an ongoing war. They're going on for about 7 years. And it actually the point where Martha helps one of the half before dies. But it's actually Martha's on one final trip, one final accidental trip with the Doctor, which it has to really go home. And actually, we had the important episode is called the Doctor's Daughter because at the beginning of the episode um you have Doctor getting like his hand stuck in a machine, which is called as a biological clone of him or something like that. Jenny, which is this teenage girl who is basically the same species as Doctor. Um, it's from the same DNA or something like that. It's really weird. So they have gone on a huge adventure. They find out about the planet. They find out that there's a certain holes that have the war counting down. It's really weird. And at the end of the episode, you have the Doctor losing Jenny, which is very sad. Because of one of the guys that shoots Jenny. Um, so yeah, it's a really tragic episode. And then you have Jenny waking up into a rocket ship, going rocket ship and flying away. And then you have the following episode, which is episode 7, Unicorn and the Wasp, which is actually an historic episode because the Doctor traveled to the 1920s, at the time of Agatha Christie, and actually has Felicity Jones in it, who is in opening Rogue One movie Star Wars. Um, and it's basically a mystery to kind of historically of Agatha Christie's death, and it's basically covering the history of the unicorn and the wasp. This wasp this giant wasp that's killing people, and this unicorn that's like a thief. It basically find like events linked to another, and they're investigating different things, and investigating who the wasp really is. In terms of this religious guy, this person who I guess is like this pastor or something like that. One of the people who like the rules the churches or whatever. And he turned out to be Wasp in the end, and then the lady who was played by Felicity Jones presented the unicorn, which is this thief. And yeah, it was a really historical episode. And it's basically the mystery of Agatha Christie's death, which ended up being by the water in an old-fashioned car thingy. And actually it's basically this dinner party, and it has David Tennant's dad, real life dad, in this episode, which is really interesting. So that's basically the episode. It's really interesting. It's a really great episode. It really was. And then you have the following episode, which is one of the I think the best two-parter ever. silence in the library in the Forest of the Dead. The Doctor and Donna visit the far future, this library. It's actually the longest tip I've ever seen in my life. It really is, because it has the introduction of River Song in this library. And basically the history, kind of the history of the Doctor and River. And basically this library that is live with books in the shadows and it's called this is basically the shadows called a shadowless creature called the Vash Generata, which is this thing that can like take you or whatever. It takes this young girl, and it takes a lot of people. Also takes has the monster, the guy who says who turned out the lights, which is actually really, a really kind of a running gag. Um, and it's basically at the end, basically Donna's transported to this this other universe, or this other like reality, this alternate reality where she's like married, she has kids and everything like that. Um, and all the while don't trying to get her back, and eventually what happens is that she ends up on the statue, and they have like a big run thing, and then they find things, and apparently the Doctor doesn't recognize River Song, but River Song recognizes him because she came too far into his past. um and it's really interesting. A character that happens in this episode is Dr. Moon, um, played by Colin Salmon, I think his name was. I think so. He's basically actually he's the same actor who played um Matt. No, it's played Walter, I think it was, in Arrow. Um, really great character. And this little girl, Cow, I think it's name, yeah, Cow. Um, and it's basically her library. Um, it's a really interesting episode because the Doctor like saves River and finds out why he would give a screwdriver to him. It's a really powerful episode because it actually comes from last year's Christmas special, uh, the Husbands of River song. So yeah, it's a really great episode. Um, really powerful. Yeah. And then the next episode is Midnight, episode 10. And that's the Doctor and Donna are taking a little break from travel, and the Doctor's going on a spaceship, where on this planet called Midnight, on a spaceship, and basically that entire plot is this creature is on the outside of the ship, and it's banging and eventually possesses one of the people, and then takes control of the Doctor, and they keep repeating words, and it's actually a really creepy episode. Eventually, everyone gets on the ship, and they don't actually know what it was. It's a really creepy episode. We get a lot of mentions of the Doctor's companions, and it's just really crazy. Um, and then it's really because the mystery is that Doctor doesn't know what the creature was at all. Um, and then 10 Left is a really weird episode. Basically, the life without the Doctor never met Donna, and basically the life with Donna because basically um comes to this fortune teller who tells her the future and has his wheel on the back. Goes to this crazy life about 10 Left, and it's basically the Doctor dying, non-regenerative, and yeah, it's a great episode. I think it's really well done. Um, it has the TARDIS it has the TARDIS as if um oh god, as if they don't know how to use TARDIS in a while. I don't know, it was weird, but it was a good episode. And then eventually the Doctor, eventually she undoes everything she did and meets the Doctor again, and it's just a crazy episode. Actually, the fortune teller that predicts the future is actually played by the same actress who plays the insect thing from Utopia, the little thing that was helping Christiana, the master. Um, Great episode. Um, and then the final two-parter is it's still on Earth and Running Down. This is actually one of the best two-parters I've ever seen. Because it has the well, first of all, it answers the question that was given by both the end of the universe. That has like every previous companion, even Sarah Jane comes back. You have Rose, you have Martha, you have Donna Noble, of course, um, you have Sarah Jane, you have Captain Jack. Everyone comes back. Basically, the idea was the fact that the Davos is back. The 27 planets have appeared in the sky. Uh, and it's just the idea of that, and everyone's taking refuge. And it's just crazy. It's really crazy. And at the end of the episode, you have the Doctor almost like forced to regenerate because the Doctor a Dalek shoots him. Um, and then turns out he didn't die because he uses we ended it with his hand. And then you have the Doctor's facing Davros, with the doppelganger, which is many characters Doctor. That was a really I didn't like it as much. Honestly, I didn't like it. I didn't like the Many Crisis Doctor as much. It just didn't feel right. Um, so yeah, and it was just overall a really good episode because you have a lot of things. You have like you have the Doctor facing Davros and uh you know Davros telling him about how amazing it is to be back. I can't actually remember everything, but it was a really great episode. I think the best part of the episode was the opening sequence. You have everyone appearing, like almost everyone appearing from the current series. And yeah, it was just a great episode. Honestly, it really was. It was fantastic because you have Rose coming back, which is really heartwarming to have that happen. Um, and then you have Donna having her mind wiped at the end of the episode. I was sad. It was really sad to have that happen. Um, because she couldn't handle everything, and I thought the episode, the reintroduction of Davros was crazy because he wanted to like destroy the universe, or whatever. He wanted this reality bomb to destroy the universe. Um, and it's just crazy how Davros came back because he's actually a classic villain for the classic series. So he came back and it was really great. And I think the best moment of the episode was when everyone is at the TARDIS console. That was great. That was a fantastic moment. Um, I just love that was so great. Um, and then the episode of Battle Bay where where the Doctor and like Rose depart, or at least real Doctor and Rose depart for the final time. Um, and then you have the half human Doctor, Metacrisis Doctor go with uh go with Rose, and they like allow life together. Um, and it's just a really sad episode. It's powerful, indeed powerful. It's a really great episode. And then yeah, I'm not going to it's not really well. There is nah. Well, there is the first of the specials. Well, honestly, I'm not gonna wait until next week. I'm going to review the specials next week. Um, just because it's just a lot of specials to do. But honestly, overall, Series 4, amazing series. I mean, I wouldn't say Series 3 is better, but honestly, I think Series 4 is the amount of characters they brought back and the amount of everything they just had. It was an amazing series. It was just a good final run for the 10th Doctor. Had a lot of great episodes. It was overall really good. And I think it deserves not. It doesn't deserve any rating really. Just it was fantastic. Um, well, yeah. You know what? I think I'll probably rate it a 9 out of 10 just because of 10 left. I didn't like 10 left as much. It just felt it was weird. It was just weird. So yeah, just one con is 10 left. I didn't like the episode as much as other episodes I've seen. But the final two part was great. So nothing during the that was a great episode. It actually had the Doctor regenerating. And it didn't actually regenerate, but you know, you got the idea. So overall, great series. For the Doctor. Great, you know, final thing for for the series. Um, and yeah. I think that'll do it for this episode of Reviewed. If you did like this episode, then why not give it a like and subscribe for more, please. And yeah, great series, really amazing. I just thought it was awesome. Just it was clearly awesome. So yeah, nothing wrong with it at all. Just turn up was just not my kind of thing. I also wasn't a fan of Midnight. Midnight was creepy. Um, but yeah, I thought the Dino did a good job this series. Really great companion. The Force the Dead the Science Celebrity episode and Force the Dead episode, but the Chapata that was pretty good. I thought it was just, you know, really well done. So yeah, anyway, yeah, that's all I have that I can say about it. Great episodes, great story. Glad we finally got the answer to what the hell Battle Falls. We get a lot of characters back. We get the David Tennant gives another great performances to 10th Doctor. And yeah, I thought it was amazing. Anyway, so yeah, that'll do it for this episode again. I think I said that before. And I will see you next time for the next episode. Alright, see ya.